Hello, I hope everyone is well connected. Please check your connection. And let me remind you that simultaneous translation will work during our meeting. And I ask you not to turn off the original sound and to select English or Russian language in the settings in the bottom of the screen, the globe icon. Дорогие друзья, на протяжении всего мероприятия будет работать синхронный перевод. Выберите русский или английский язык в строке иконок, глобус и язык. So, dear participants, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are the participants of the third online meeting of the Creative Cooperation Program UNESCO Creative Cities of BRICS countries, Art Together. My name is Diana Kaubela. I am the Program Director of the Russia BRICS Youth Project Office and the Deputy Head of Creative Industries Foundation of Ulyanovsk region. I am glad to welcome you from the studio located in the Russian city of Ulyanovsk. And now let me ask you to introduce yourself and to write in our Zoom chat what your name is, what country you represent, what your activity is, and your contact information. Let's do it right now. What your name is, what country you represent, what your activity is, and your contact information. I can give you half a minute. Our first participants are writing. Good. Your name, your country, your activity, and your contact information. Let me continue, dear friends. The organizers of the program are the Non-Government Organization Center for Innovation and Communications, the Russia BRICS Youth Project Office, and the Alexander Gorchakov Public Diplomacy Fund. Today is our third meeting of the Creative Cooperation Program UNESCO Creative Cities of BRICS countries, Art Together. There are 6 online meetings from July to December 2022 we plan to hold. Within the framework of the program, 40 experts share the successful experience of the communities of their cities, which are part of the UNESCO network. Today, we will meet several experts who will present their creative cities. Let me remind you that the UNESCO Creative Cities Network was established in 2004. Since then, UNESCO cities have been promoting the image of their territory to the whole world. Dear friends, after the start of our program, we are in continuous communication with the participants. I would like to say with pleasure that representatives of UNESCO Creative Cities of the BRICS countries have expressed a desire to visit UNESCO cities of the BRICS countries for creative internships. Together with our colleagues, we are discussing in a program of financial support for this initiative. You are welcome to ask us questions and share your ideas. Our third meeting is called How Do I Get Inspiration for Creativity? And our first speaker represents the city of Mumbai, and I would like to welcome an actor from Mumbai, Indian city of cinematography, Jaydeep Ashura. Please, Jaydeep, the floor is yours. Can you hear us?
Yes, hi, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, first of all, for giving this opportunity to me and to do this event, which is really important in these days. So, hello everyone. I am Jaydeep Ashura and I'm an actor and a photographer. So I'm here to talk today about how do you get inspiration for creativity and share little that I know about Mumbai over here. So the roots of Mumbai, created on 7 islands, goes back to the 17th century. Mumbai gained its status through trade and businesses initially that started establishing, and Mumbai has emerged not from a pilgrimage shrine or royal court, rather it's innovation is manifested by Mumbai's merchants and industrialists, arose from the nature of the mixed communities like the Banyas, the Marwadis, and the Parsis. Uh, Mumbai still has most of its architecture and infrastructure preserved as built by these communities, which in turn has made the city more enriching, reminding the people of their times and adding an emotional connect to the people of that era. Uh, Mumbai has been at the forefront of the trends always, as it has been one of the first in India to build railways and transport system, which in turn facilitated the businesses. All of this, like this is just the background and the formation of the city, which is now like the creative and commercial and financial capital of India, at least proclaimed by the people. And this infrastructure and culture is such an integral part of the city that artists and writers have captured it in their films and theater productions also. The images you can see on the screen are just like the modern day right now, but people in the movies also try to recreate all of that possible in the 1800s and the 1900s throughout. So what makes Mumbai the creative hub of India? Like anyone would like to just put in some answers or just put in some comments? Am I getting any over here? Okay, I'll move on. So one of the major reasons as a creative person, I feel, yes, Bollywood, of course. Bollywood, of course, it's there, but one of the major reasons I feel is that the city incorporates different languages, kinship structures, and people from different backgrounds, all who coexist separately, yet they are in close proximity. So, like in different countries, you might have seen that the homes are built a bit far away and everything, but here everything is, you can, once you'll just feel claustrophobic also, but it's like it's magical how people uh, coexist together. And one is just bombarded with diverse imagery and sound all at the same time. So Mumbai has many ways of reminding you that it's the world's most prolific film capital, home to a production line that fuels billion dreams. The city is also house to various theaters and multiplexes, some having history way back to the 1900s. The city is also housed to the film city, which is the backbone of the entertainment industry, having 16 air-conditioned studios. The film city is like a black canvas where filmmakers put their heart and sweat to create a world, show their creativity, and transform the space. Film city also ensures that the regional industry also gets access to the studios. And this film city is named after Dada Saheb Phalke, who is the father of the Indian film industry, introducing like the first Indian film, Raja Harishchandra. So referred to as the city of dreams, Mumbai is seen as a land of opportunity for artists and talent from across the country. Due to its importance within the film industry, the city hosts a plethora of festivals and exhibitions, including the Mumbai Film Festival, MAMI, which showcases a variety of cinema genres such as independent and art house films, alongside movies from Bollywood and Hollywood. At the forefront of progressive cinema, Mumbai also holds Kashish. One of the images, like the image on the right, shows that Kashish is the first Indian LGBT festival and emphasizes Mumbai's stance towards supporting and encouraging greater visibility of Indian and international queer cinema. It also has National Museum of Indian Cinema now, which was inaugurated in 2019. And this museum provides a storehouse of information to everyone and also help filmmakers, students, enthusiasts, and critics to know and to give an idea of the history of Indian cinema in chronological order. So this was a bit about Mumbai, where I'm like bombarding you with some information about Mumbai and the little I know about Mumbai. But as an artist, wait, Kira, wait. So as an artist, I share my experiences, I would like to just share a story with all of you. So child is somewhere around in the third grade, was working in a project. He was making a horse out of the clay that the teacher kept in the cupboard. And at one point, a girl that was sitting at his table, seeing what he was doing, leaned over and said to him, "That's terrible. That doesn't look anything like a horse." The child's shoulder sank and he wadded up the clay horse and he threw it back into the bin. I wonder how often that happens, with all of us also. Like, that kid never did any other project like that ever again. So I feel that this opting out happens in childhood and it moves and becomes even more ingrained even by the time we reach adulthood. And if we really track those people down who don't follow their dreams or who don't try to do the creative work, they'll just say that, "Oh, I'm just not the creative type." So interestingly, the psychologist called Albert Bandura, who works at Stanford, worked on phobias for a long time. This might seem like it's not related, but it's I'm sharing this story where this phobias was not really related to, like, it's not only related to places and everything, but it's an internal process also. So he had developed this kind of methodology that ended up curing people in a very short period of time. Like in 4 hours, he had a huge cure rate of people who had phobias. So let's take his example. You will call in test subjects who had these phobias and he will say, "Well, there's a snake in the next room and we are going to go in there." To which most of them replied, "Hell no, I'm not going in there if there's a snake in there." But Bandura has kind of a step-by-step process where uh, he would take in a two-way mirror looking into the room where the snake was, and he would get them comfortable with that. So through a series of steps, he would move them and they would be standing in the doorway with the door open. And they will be looking in there and he will get them comfortable with that. And then many more steps later, they will be in the room. So like he would through a series of steps make people believe that this is just a fear which they are believing by themselves and everything was fine with them. So Bandura calls this process the guided mastery, and people just build this confidence which is called the self-efficacy, the sense that you can change the world and that you can attain what you've set out to do. So my point being with this story is actually this famous scientist makes us realize one really interesting thing, that we could take people who had the fear that they weren't creative and we could take them through a series of steps, kind of like a series of small successes, and then turn kind of this fear into familiarity, and they surprise themselves. That transformation, like the people who felt that they were only analytical now have the confidence and they think of themselves differently. They're totally emotionally excited about the fact that they walk around thinking of themselves as a creative person. So just thinking back at my journey as an artist and how I started with this creative work, that all of these successes, these failures, this highs and lows, this peace and anxiety, somewhere my consciousness evolved to a point where now I look at things differently, where I build this creative confidence, and everything, like even nature, people around me, even these objects around me, inspire me to create some of the characters. Like anything and everything around me helps me in creating my character. But this is like a slow process which didn't happen like all of a sudden, where I couldn't incorporate everything into my character building and everything. But now it's reached a point where I know I somehow get an instinct that yes, okay, this can work and this cannot work. So I hope all of you here also let your ideas fly and reach a level of creative confidence, and just follow the creativity. It's like it's unlimited for us. So yes, that's that from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Jaydeep, for your interesting presentation. Do we have questions to Jaydeep in our Zoom chat? Let me check. So you can ask during all our meeting, Jaydeep. please stay with us till the finish. Thank you so much again. Dear participants, based on the materials of our program, an electronic booklet will be published with a description of successful cases and information about the participants. We will certainly send this booklet to your emails and to your municipalities in December. I would like to emphasize that our program is aimed at exchanging experience in the field of culture and art and implementing joint international projects. And now let me give the floor to our next speaker, Alexander Dashko, poet, chairman of the Young Writers Council of the Ulyanovsk region, Russia, Ulyanovsk, City of Literature. Alexander?
Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги. Меня зовут Александр Дашко, я молодой поэт, председатель Совета молодых литераторов Ульяновской области. И хочу сегодня с вами поделиться о том, что вдохновляет, да, что вдохновляет меня, где черпать вдохновение творческому человеку и как это лучше сделать. Хочется сказать, что вдохновение – это очень важный процесс, очень важный для творческого человека. Без вдохновения невозможно трансформировать полученную информацию в по-настоящему художественное произведение. Наверное, главным источником вдохновения для меня является город, в котором я живу, город Ульяновск. Креативный город ЮНЕСКО по направлению литературы. Здесь, в Ульяновске, сама атмосфера, сама природа вдохновляла не одно поколение известных во всем мире писателей, таких как Николай Карамзин, автор «Истории государства российского» и многих других произведений, и известный во всем мире писатель Иван Александрович Гончаров, который, я знаю, что много экранизируется за границей, который написал такие выдающиеся произведения, как «Обломов», «Обрыв», «Фрегат Паллада» и другие. Дважды в нашем городе был Пушкин, и это тоже наложило свой отпечаток и оставило свой след в литературной атмосфере нашего города. Но Ульяновск не только поэтому является литературным городом. Он обладает мощной творческой энергетикой, потому что находится на берегах величайшей русской реки Волги. Волга служила источником вдохновения многим поколениям творческих людей. И нынешнее поколение также вдохновляется ее просторами. Иногда, когда бывает ощущение, что процесс создания произведения зашел в тупик, стоит только спуститься к Волге, и заряд вдохновения вернется. Сам путь к Волге тоже представляет большой интерес. Он проходит через очень достопримечательное место, которое называется Парк Дружбы народов. В советское время каждая республика представляла здесь свой участок, свои растения, те редкие, которые произрастали на ее территории, свои памятники. И сегодня, да, когда идешь и встречаешь все это разнообразие, то ощущаешь именно прилив новых мыслей, подмечаешь новые образы и, собственно говоря, входишь к Волге, которая, безусловно, не оставляет равнодушным и способствует вдохновению. Особенный источник новой творческой энергии – это волжский ветер, потому что в Ульяновске всегда очень ветрено, с Волги всегда дует свежий ветер, который тоже приносит какие-то совершенно новые мысли, особенно когда наблюдаешь за рекой, под этим ветром, за волнами, за облаками, которые бегут над рекой. Да, хочется также сказать, что на Волге два моста. Вот один из них вы видите на картинке, на фотографии. И вот, так сказать, величие этих мостов тоже завораживает и тоже является таким творческим символом, особенно если смотреть на них в вечернее время. Но Ульяновск уникален еще и тем, что в нем две реки текут в противоположные направления. И вторая река – это Свияга, которая несравненно меньше, чем Волга, но очень красивая. На ней много кувшинок, как на картинах Клода Моне, на ней маленькие острова. И иногда, когда вдохновение меня покидает, я арендую лодку а, и просто часами могу кататься по Свияге, наблюдать за природой и чувствовать вот этот вот единый ритм речной экосистемы. Главное, наверное, в вдохновении, в его поисках – это чувствовать себя единым с природой. Это наблюдать за малейшими оттенками, движениями, за малейшими перемещениями природы, потому что вдохновение на самом деле разлито вокруг нас, и стоит только внимательнее приглядеться, как можно его найти. Но это только один из путей поиска творческой энергии. Я называю это внешним путем, когда творческий человек вдохновляется внешними обстоятельствами, когда он вдохновляется наблюдениями за природой. Но ведь нет ничего богаче, чем душа человека, чем его личный опыт, чем его эмоции и впечатления. Поэтому существует так называемый внутренний способ поиска вдохновения. И здесь я присоединюсь к своему коллеге из Мумбаи, который говорил о том, что вдохновение можно искать и из детства, да, из детских воспоминаний. И я тоже часто ищу вдохновение именно в детских воспоминаниях, потому что все самое важное, что происходит в жизни, закладывается именно в детстве. Именно в детстве человек настолько ярко воспринимает окружающую действительность, настолько искренне, непосредственно чувствует это, что эти впечатления остаются на всю жизнь. И они питают человека на протяжении всего его творческого пути. Мне очень запомнились из детства яркие образы новогодних праздников, елок, да, это тоже сейчас продолжает вдохновлять и как будто открывает дверь в какой-то сказочный мир воображения. Ведь творческому человеку очень важно иметь воображение, которое ведет его к какой-то тайне. Очень вдохновляют детские прогулки и особенно, да, что хотел подчеркнуть, очень вдохновляют типажи тех людей, с которыми в детстве так или иначе встречался. Вот, например, мои соседи по коммунальной квартире, да, я уже не видел их около 20 лет, но между тем их образы настолько ярко отложились в моем детском подсознании, что сейчас какие-то черты из этого я воплощаю в произведениях. Да, кстати, вот на картинке вы можете на фотографии увидеть еще одно очень красивое место Ульяновска. Это Ульяновский художественный музей. Это вообще Венец, это центральное место города. Отсюда открывается очень яркий вид на Волгу. Мне кажется, что даже не творческий человек, когда в хорошую погоду вечером прогуливается по этому месту, может начать писать стихи, или его рука может потянуться к карандашу, и он может благодаря таким прекрасным пейзажам открыть в себе творческие способности. Хочу также выделить, наверное, 3 главных принципа поиска вдохновения на фоне того, на основе того, что я уже сказал. Первое. Важно пользоваться своими внутренними ресурсами, воспоминаниями, мыслями, рефлексией. Это может дать очень богатый материал для лирических произведений. Это может дать очень богатый материал для образов и пронзительных строк. Ведь ни для кого не секрет, что самые пронзительные строки – это те строки, которые ты пережил сам. Второе правило – это искать вдохновение вокруг себя, в природе, в городе, в урбанистических пейзажах города, которые тоже завораживают и тоже могут дать большую порцию энергии. наблюдать за всеми изменениями, которые происходят вокруг. Творческий человек должен быть очень наблюдательным. И это одна из главных его черт. И третье правило – это жить в гармонии с природой и чувствовать себя единой частью большого мира, большой вселенной, где непрерывно циркулирует энергия, и быть открытым энергетическим потоком, которые рано или поздно тебя посетят. А творческий человек, он вообще является проводником этих высоких энергий, которые воплощает в своих произведениях. Спасибо за внимание, вдохновляйтесь, наблюдайте за окружающим миром, и пусть творческая энергия никогда вас не покинет.
Thank you, dear Alexander. So at the moment, we don't have the questions to you. Maybe our participants will write their question a bit later. Stay with us. Thank you so much. Dear participants, I would like to remind you that the BRICS Alliance today is a powerful group of 5 countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, covering 25% of the land and more than 40% of the world's population. Cultural and humanitarian cooperation is a part of BRICS life. I am happy to see other countries at our meeting. At the previous meeting, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Djibouti, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Indonesia also were with us. And now we move on to South Africa. Overstrand Hermanus, creative city of gastronomy. Please take a look. Oh, so energetic vibes. Take a look at the video from Caroline Martin, co-owner of Creation Wines restaurant, and the chefs Relmond Fortune, Ebongile Mafevuka, and Eleanor Niehaus. Please, attention.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello, and we've created a beautiful video for you. We just need to get the sound working. In 2019, Overstrand Hermanus in the Western Cape of South Africa was awarded UNESCO Creative City status for gastronomy. Our neighbouring towns and villages, Horston, Pringle Bay, Roy Else, Stanford, Gansbaai, Betty's Bay and Claremont all became partners of this creative gastronomic hub. What an honour and what an impact it made on the entire region. It was not only a tribute to the many local boutique and artisanal producers, but meant that all of our efforts to safeguard our unique environment were bearing fruit, literally. Our beautiful vineyards, wine produced here, and locally brewed beer are literally a taste of our sun and soil, with the magic of our winemakers and brewers to add to the unique experience. The quality of our local produce and the way it is harvested is a boon for our talented chefs.
I live in a fisherman's village. When you are next to the ocean, it gives you the opportunity to forage and work with the freshest sea produce. I then use these ingredients to create dishes that are unique to this area.
My mother always says, watch where you walk. There are precious plants at your feet. That's why I used umfino, which is spinach, and ground maize for this traditional dish. It's healthy, homegrown, and the best nature can offer.
A large part of my work as head chef is to source fresh seasonal ingredients from local boutique producers. That can be anything from edible flowers and herbs to free-range eggs, honey and fish from the ocean only a few kilometers away.
There is no question that we love and value the thousands of visitors who attend our annual food festivals, such as our Pinot Noir Day, but we never lose sight of the importance of our local guests. Hospitality is everything in our area, and you can even dine with a local. It's why we introduced what we call the Stoep experience. This invites people to wander from different historic venues to enjoy traditional light dishes. A local historian then entertains guests with stories of old. Each venue is also partnered with a local beverage producer. It is about honouring tradition, but it is also a celebration of the unique tastes of our region. Every day, we showcase the produce of our pristine environment here in the Overstrand. We celebrate the efforts of our valued workers, the support of our greater community, and the visitors who travel from far and wide to our region. Every day brings new challenges, but also new opportunities. Here, innovation is a way of life.
So beautiful, exciting video. Let me give the floor to Caroline Martin. Hello, Caroline.
Little chefs, hello to you, a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Wonderful to be here today with you. And we are truly inspired by our incredibly beautiful environment. And one of the reasons that I think we were granted this listing was because of the pristine environment in which we work. There is no pollution here because there is no industrialization in our region. We have an incredibly diverse culture. A lot of it inspired also by the maritime Silk Route and the influence that that has had on our diverse cultural heritage from a culinary point of view. And the other thing that is exciting for us is to take heritage and to modernize it and to make sure that we turn the dishes into healthy dishes and that we definitely think about our guests' well-being. So we often create a menu inspired by Ayurvedic principles and the sequence in which one eats to keep your blood sugar level low and your energy levels high. And we are proponents of wine and wellness as well in our region. Does anyone have any questions?
So, dear participants, you can ask your questions to South African participants in our Zoom chat.
What we would like to do while people are thinking about questions, if they have any, is that we would love to share this with everybody, and we would like to invite everybody to visit us as well in the Western Cape, in the region that we are based in, which is Hermanus. And we specifically are in a place called the Heaven and Earth Valley.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your warm invitation. Thank you. So, dear participants, let's continue our meeting, and let me remind you to ask your questions in the Zoom chat. The BRICS countries are represented in the UNESCO Creative Cities Network by 41 cities. You will have the opportunity to get acquainted with most of these cities within the framework of our Creative Cooperation Program, UNESCO Creative Cities of BRICS countries, Art Together. And now let me introduce the next speaker. Martin Sablaroles, music and cultural producer of Estúdio Trips, Brazil, Recife, creative city of music. Martin, hello.
Hello guys, thank you for having me here. My name is Martin Sablaroles, but I'm known here in the culture segment as Martin Trips. Okay, I work as a culture and music producer here in Recife. Recife is the capital of the state of Pernambuco. The state is stretched out into the continent and is part of the northeast region of Brazil. It has at its core the Brazilian semi-desert called Sertão, and also the urbanized and populous coast. My recording studio, the Studio Trips, has the goal of creating a new music scene inside the northeast region of Brazil, working with music production, events coordination and production, management of artistic careers, and music marketing. We promote and record artists and culture movements from all over the state of Pernambuco. I think that to be able to understand creativity in Recife, we have to understand how music knowledge is passed forward to the new generations in Pernambuco. This process happens inside two big centers of music formation: people's tradition and religion. Catholic churches, Protestant churches, Afro-Brazilian religions, and even Islamism are big music schools, and they are the point from where a great number of cultural movements have originated. Of course, the way of life of people from the Sertão who struggle with water and food shortage, and the life of people from the major urban centers who struggle with violence and poverty, bleed naturally into our music. Knowing these facts, we understand that most musicians don't go through an European traditional school of music, if you know what I mean. Instead, they learn from the masters and so on. Another important aspect of Brazilian culture is the way of our population was formed. People came to South America from Africa through slavery. Original populations from the continent were here, and we still had a vast immigration coming from Europe, Middle East, China, and Japan. In fact, our music is so diverse because our population is diverse, and our culture is a result of that. Now I'm going to talk about some of the cultural movements that we have here in Recife. We have the frevo. Frevo, in the left side, was originated after the end of the Second World War, when military instruments were very cheap at the time, and they were used by the Black community to create a kind of music where they could face each other in capoeira contests without being attacked by the police. They would say, "We are just dancing, not fighting," to get rid of jail, you know. Frevo now evolves into different segments, and it's performed by different types of bands. We can hear it on the street at the carnival in February, or in fancy theaters performed by awesome big bands. After that, we're going to talk about maracatu. It has two main types: the maracatu de baque virado and the maracatu de baque solto. They differ in their rhythm and are accompanied by the strong sound of a great number of drums called alfaia and other lighter instruments. They also have a party of dancers who perform the roles as king, queen, prince, princess, and so on, during the presentation of the chant and percussion. Can you pass the presentation for the next slide, please? So we have to talk about forró too. Forró is one of the most successful music genres within the Brazilian music market because of the dance that comes along with. It's an often joyful style of music that's mostly played since the great Luis Gonzaga, the artist who was the ambassador of this rhythm throughout Brazil and world, by a drum called zabumba, the accordion, you can see here in the picture, and a steel triangle. Nowadays, the genre is very diverse, and many artists have come after Luis Gonzaga and introduced new instruments and styles. And now the genre is dominating the country. Also, we have to talk about cantoria. Cantoria how to explain cantoria, I have to explain the universe of it. And the universe of cantoria is mixed with the universe of poetry from Sertão. Regions like Pajeú, in the countryside of Pernambuco, are great poetry centers which produce poets who sing publicly, accompanied by the sound of steel guitars called viola. The whole thing is done through improvisation, and the presentation has mostly every time two cantadores with their guitars. Can you pass the slide, please? Coco and ciranda are genres very traditional in the Northeast region of Brazil. They have their own rhythm and dance style and use instruments like the maracatu from the Afro religions of the country. They are very known for the presence only of percussion and voices, which have very unique harmonies and timbres. Can you pass the slide, please? So I think to understand creativity in Recife, you have to understand this moment in history that's called the movement of Mangue Beat. In the early 90s in Brazil, American culture with genres like rock, pop, and rap music was washing away the attention of young people from the traditional rhythms that I just mentioned. Some of those rhythms were being forgotten and unfunded by the government until the movement came about. Mangue Beat was a movement that came in the early 90s led by the visionary artist Chico Sainz and his band Nação Zumbi. Chico would mix the traditional rhythms from maracatu with rock and rap music. He started the movement and other follows, not only with maracatu, but forró, frevo, coco, cantoria, and ciranda. This movement taught the city and the state to value the traditional culture and to build its foundation in it. Our creativity comes from our roots, from our ancestors, and their struggle through time. They brought their music from their land, and they met each other and exchanged sounds. We don't have to erase the past to meet the next new thing. We have to understand where our feelings are as people, within a community, and a social context. New music will appear when old rhythms, sounds, and beats which contain the history of a people and their struggle mix with new sounds, instruments, and genres, sounds of new times and obstacles. Thank you very much. That's in this part of the presentation, can I present to you the different regions from Pernambuco. And if you guys want to know more information, you go there and search about these places, because each one of these places has strong cultural movements and music to be heard. So that's why I put that in the presentation. But that's the point, to know each other and to know our culture. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. This was the wonderful presentation of Martin Sablaroles, music and cultural producer of Brazil, Recife, creative city of music. And dear Martin, we have a question to you from our chat.
Yeah. Within the
Do Salvador and Recife, within the framework of UNESCO creative cities, cooperate and create joint events?
Salvador and Recife have some similarities in the culture, but our music is very different. What we have commonly in Brazil is that we have projects financed by the government that makes an artist from Salvador to go to Recife to make a presentation, or to any other place of Brazil. But we don't have now actions from the government of both governments to do things together. We work as a state, and after, when you conquer the state as an artist, you go and you conquer your region, so the Northeast region, and after you go Brazil international. You know, so that's how it works. But we don't have cooperation systems like that in place now.
So thank you, dear Martin. Do we have another question, dear participants? You can ask them during all our meeting. Thank you again, dear Martin. And now I welcome our Chinese speaker. I am happy to give the floor to Zhang He, President of Association of Youth Exchanges of China and Russia under the Union of Chinese Students in Russia, the member of Russia BRICS Project Office for the International Youth Cooperation, China, Chengdu, Creative City of Gastronomy. Zhang He, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to show. I'm honored to be a speaker and speak about Chinese city, Chengdu. And I just talk about topic. Why is Chengdu the UNESCO city of gastronomy? Let's see some photos of Chengdu foods. This is Hongyou Maodu. This is Hongyou Maodu. This is Huoguo. This is Chengdu food, Huoguo. This is Biang Mian. Biang Mian. Let's talk about part one. Inclusive urban culture forms gastronomic diversity. This is a famous historical and cultural city with a long history, rich resources, great vitality, and extensive influence. Chengdu has experienced 6 great migrations of famous ethnic groups and large-scale immigration in history. The fusion of various famous and custom cultures has brought a variety of ingredients and production methods, making Chengdu food culture rich and prosperous in exchange and innovation. There are excellent chefs from all over the country, the best restaurant, and many food critics. The convergence of food and the collision of cultures has promoted the development of Chengdu's food culture. In addition to the prosperity of local Sichuan cuisine for foreign cuisines and even foreign dishes are also flourishing. There are countless different kinds of food in Chengdu. The biggest feature of Chengdu food is its rich tastes. There are 5 basic tastes of sweet, sour, bitter, acrid, and salty, and 23 kinds of compound tastes are reconciled. This kind of food concept and food culture originated from ancient Chinese philosophical thoughts. Ancient philosophers in the early autumn and warring states proposed that the universe and life are one and five fundamental elements of matter: wood, water, fire, and earth constitute the universe. Chengdu cuisine has inherited this concept and developed five flavors absorbed the characteristics and essence of various dishes from all over the country, and the family evolved into Chengdu's unique food culture, becoming the most flower for genre in Chinese cuisine and even international cuisine. Chengdu is located in middle and upper reaches of the Yangtze River, with abundant water, with 12 main streams and dozens of tributaries. The water quality is excellent and the pollution is minimal. A large number of freshwater fish, shrimp, sailfish, and aquatic plants are produced every year. As a fertile basin terrain, the Chengdu plain accounts for more than 50%, and the rest are low and gentle hills, rich in minerals and fertile soil. This makes it possible to produce a lot of grain, oil, fruit, vegetables, bamboo, shoots, eat, and so on. Chengdu is working hard to strengthen international exchange and cooperation city. The city is actively involved in the conceptualization of city networks, international culinary exchanges, and trips to international culinary competitors to exchange Chinese and East food culture. This is my contact, and if you have any question, you can contact with me. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, dear Zhang He, for your very interesting presentation. Yes, you can ask our speaker Zhang He if you would like to ask him something, some questions. But, dear participants, we have questions to our previous speaker. Question from Anastasia to Jaydeep Ashra. Please, dear Ashra, be ready to answer. Are there any youth associations in India for the development of cinematography? If there are such cooperations, how do they help the actors' promotion?
Yes. So as I mentioned that there are like festivals also. This is the Mami, the film companion, and the Mami who do organize events and everything over there for actors. There are days like festivals for like 3 or 4 days, where there is everything from cinematography to script writing to everything. For an actor requires to know everything, like the direction side, the script writing side. It helps in everything, helps in building the character for him and how do you perform there. So this is just one example. There are also examples like Salam Bombay, which is in talks with the government to incorporate art and acting and everything in the schools itself. Like right now, it is helping the underprivileged students, but it is helping, like it is doing in, like it is trying to incorporate this in the schools and everything, so that from the start itself it's incorporated in India. Because in India it's like a bit of a taboo over here. Like acting and everything is not that, it's come far beyond than that, but still in some cities and some states it's like taboo that acting is not for us or art is not for us. It's still only like if you study and get a job, and it's everywhere actually, but in India that conservative nature is a bit still in some areas of India. So yeah, all of this will somewhere help in uh, the arts and for actors and everything. And there are a lot of organizations who perform, like who organize events day by day, like every week or every month. There are also creative spaces who keep uh, rooms for writers and for actors and everything, where they just discuss, create, perform everything. So there are a lot of small in Andheri also, in Bandra also. So yes.
Thank you very much, dear JD. So, dear participants, we have one question more, but firstly, let's turn our cameras on and take a common picture. Very good, our good tradition to take a group photo. Please turn your cameras on. I would like to ask you, everyone, to turn cameras on, please. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's smile and take a group photo. Post it in your social media and get it into your gallery, photo gallery. So we can wait about half a minute. Please turn your cameras on. And after that, we will continue our online meeting. Okay, and we have question to Caroline from Natalie. Caroline, please, dear Caroline, please be ready to answer it. I know that a chef from Russia is currently practicing with you. What programs do Hermanos have for foreign chefs?
We are working with the Warwick Chef School, but what I would love to do is quickly get the chef. So we're going to quickly get her to come and say hello to you. And I think what's wonderful is that she's learning about our cultural heritage in food. She was actually joining us earlier and she was sitting in on this conversation. So, and she was here for the presentation. You know, we have quite a high level of culinary learning. And it's wonderful for students to be able to come and work actually in situation. And here she is, Lisa. And so she's doing her practical experience at the moment in our creation kitchen, and she can tell you a little bit about it.
So my name is Lisa. I'm now doing my practical in the kitchen of creation, which has been treating me amazingly so far. I am from Russia, and those of you who know something about the Russian geography, I'm also from quite interesting area from the far east of Russia. So it's a very eastern part close to Asia, and that area is actually also very rich in different resources. We have like amazing seafood and everything, but this area is also very, very great in that terms. And I'm not sure, maybe you should ask me some questions that I can answer.
Maybe you can talk about abalone and some of the unique.
Okay, so I haven't been in this kitchen for a very long time, but so far I've been amazed by how much of the unique ingredients we're using here, but it's always very sustainably sourced. And one of them is a very unique one, which I've got to work with just yesterday. It's sushi, which we all know, which I think most of us is used to, but then it has a piece of the abalone, which maybe Caroline, you could.
Yeah, the abalone is found in a place called Kanspai, and normally it is used as sashimi in Japan. So it's a reflection on our maritime silk route. And what we are doing is we are showcasing the origin of where the ingredients comes from, and using it in our tasting room to show the beauty of the ingredients and how unique that ingredients is to our local visitors who come to visit from South Africa and from all over the world in our tasting room. So we have around 60,000 visitors a year visiting us from around the world and also from South Africa. Abalone is like a mollusk, and maybe Chef Eleanor can explain a little bit more about the abalone. Here is Chef Eleanor.
We have a local supplier that produces or goes and picks it, and they basically work in collaboration with Hermanus, and we get, but we still have to have the proper paperwork to be able to have the abalone on the menu, and they are very helpful in that respect.
What city are you from? And what food is common between Russia and your place? I mean, between Hermanus and your city in Russia.
So I am from the Far East, as I said. I was born in Khabarovsk. And then when I was 18, I moved to Vladivostok, which is, I think more people are familiar with Vladivostok. It's a coastal city with amazing nature and amazing seafood. And in terms of similar food in Russia, and the thing is, South African culture is it can be very different. So, because there's so many different people with different cultures, so it actually includes a lot of different things, but so does the culture of Russia. But here in Hermanus, I think the amount of fresh seafood that you can get, such as fish, and I can't even start counting because there's so much, that is something very similar. But let's say here you can get abalone, which is very, very unique, but in Vladivostok, you get scallops, which are also very unique. And I would almost say there's something similar in flavor. But yeah, that's the first thing, just because we were speaking about abalone just now, that's the first thing that comes to mind. But I would say seafood is the big one.
Thank you so much. You know, today is the food day of our online meeting, of our cooperation program. Dear participants, we don't have any more questions in our Zoom chat, but I would like to tell you, if you have any ideas for cooperation, please write about it in our chat as well. I would like to mention that in Russia, there are several grant-giving organizations which support projects related to international cooperation, and they really help to put creative ideas into practice. Well, dear friends, I would like to thank all the speakers and participants and interpreters of the third online meeting within the Creative Cooperation Program, UNESCO Creative Cities of the BRICS countries, Art Together. Our meeting was called, How Do I Get Inspiration for Creativity? The topic of our next meeting is Youth Activity in the Work of the UNESCO Creative City Team. The meeting will take place in a month on the 14th of October at the same time. We will listen to new speakers from new UNESCO Creative Cities and get a lot of interesting information. I wish everyone creativity, ingenuity, and all the best. See you next month.